So, what happens when the identity you've spent years building gets completely stripped away in, like, a single moment? Today, we're going to break down that exact anatomy of a fall. It's a really powerful story, all told through the lens of one very, very bad day.
The story doesn't even kick off with an event. It starts with a premonition, that gut feeling when you wake up and something is just off. The day itself feels like an imposter, and right away you get this feeling of deep, deep unease.
And that feeling? That's our first chapter, the omen. This is where the tension starts to build, not with some big action sequence, but through all these little, unsettling details that just scream that something is profoundly wrong.
And just look at how these tiny, seemingly minor details start to stack up. I mean, the coffee's bitter, the sky's too gray. That could just be a bad morning, right? But then comes the human element, that urgent, totally out of character call from the boss. Now that is the real sign. This isn't just a bad mood, it's a warning.
Okay, so from there, we move right into the office, and this is where that internal dread smacks right into a cold, external reality. The unraveling starts the second our guy walks through the door.
The air is just thick with something that everybody else seems to know. There are no smiles, no friendly nods, just these vacant stares. It's such a powerful picture of social alienation, of becoming invisible overnight, in a place that used to feel like your own.
And it is so crucial to understand what's at stake here. This was never just a job, It was the whole foundation of his life. It was a mortgage. It was future plans. It was that uphill climb of years and years of hard work. It was his hope and his pride all rolled into one. When that's threatened, everything is. And that threat? Well, it becomes a reality in our next section, the breaking point. This is the heart of the conflict, the exact moment everything he built on that foundation comes crashing down.
And this just illustrates the brutal disconnect perfectly. On one side, you have the cold, impersonal language of business, due to changes, restructuring, making things lean. And on the other side, you've got the devastating human reality, the quiet doom of a life totally upended, of being that one person lost in between all those corporate decisions.
And it all just boils down to this one singular, stark line. It's just... that's how fragile it all can be. Years of work, of planning, of identity, all of it, undone in a single moment. One call. That's all it took for the entire structure of his world to collapse. So now we follow him out onto the streets, right into the aftermath. This is that internal spiral that comes right after the external collapse, leaving him feeling like a man with empty hands, just grasping at nothing. And of course, his thoughts just start to race. The shock hits first, just the sheer scale of the loss. His entire world is crumbling right out from under his feet. Then, right after the shock, comes that feeling of failure, the pressure to keep it together, to stand tall, even in the face of absolute devastation. But this is the thought that cuts the deepest. It's not just about his loss anymore. It's about the terrifying, awful task of having to share that loss with the person he loves, the person who thinks of him as strong. And just as he hits rock bottom, the entire story pivots. A single phone call comes in, not to take something else away, but to offer a lifeline. This is the turning point, right here. It's the simplest, most human question imaginable. Her voice just cuts through the noise of the city, through his own internal chaos. Are you okay? It's not a question about his job or his status. It's about him. And his reaction is just so visceral. He freezes up. He chokes. He literally can't get the words out. The weight of the truth is so heavy, it's physically paralyzing him. And it poses this universal question, doesn't it? I mean, how do you say the unsayable? How do you find the words for news that you feel will break everything? How do you voice your deepest, scariest vulnerability? And he finally does it. He whispers it. It's this moment of complete and total surrender, just admitting the truth out loud for the very first time. I lost it all today. But her response, wow, her response changes everything. It isn't judgment, it isn't pity. It is an instruction and it is a promise. Come home. The foundation isn't the job, it's here, and we'll make it right. The burden is no longer his alone to carry. It's theirs now. And with those few words, the entire narrative shifts. This devastating loss gets completely reframed. It's not the end of his story. It's the refounding of it.
built on a much stronger, more resilient foundation than any job title could ever be. And this is the core realization of the entire story. Yeah, some storms are purely destructive. They just break you. But others, the ones that strip everything away, they force you to see what you're really made of. They don't just break you, they rebuild the frame. Because when all the external validation is gone, love is what remains.
Which leaves us all with this final thought. In a world that so often wants to define us by what we do, this story asks us to really consider who we are when that's taken away. When everything you've built is lost, what is it that truly remains?